Good afternoon, everybody. This is it's Terry Kugler. Here, I want to talk to you about tire repair, tubeless tube. We're going to start off with the tube. When you're selecting the tube, a lot of people want to save weight, or the store only has one size. So, like on these trike tires I have here, that's 40 millimeters. So if I was to buy this tube, would it roll down the street and work? Uh, yes, but you can see it's quite skinny. And so once you overinflate it, it becomes very thin, the rubber, because it has to overstretch to fill that big tire. So here's one that would be much more appropriate for a size tire as that. You can see that one, just inflate it lightly and the rubber would stay the same thickness because you're not overinflating it like a balloon. So selecting a tube of the right width plays a role into how easily a tire will flat, or how many flats you get. Also, you can run, I've ran sealant, slime, inject it yourself, or this stands latex sealant. I've put that in tubes with success too. There's not much I haven't done over the 41 years I've been, or 35, 40 years I've been cycling, mountain biking, road biking, now a lot of recumbents. So very experienced in flats, and they're unavoidable. At some point you're going to get a glass cut or a nail or something, hit something, and you're going to get a flat with no matter what system you have at some point. So it's how often and what you do to fix it. So that's tube selection. So get a tube that's properly sized for the tire that you have on your bike. So like here on the far left, that would be for like a 2.5 inch mountain bike tire. So if I would put that in that, you could see that's overly sized. Yes, I could get it in there and it would work, but it'd be more tube than's necessary. And once again, this tube here, the opposite of it, it would get in there and I could inflate it, but it'd stretch out so much like a balloon that it would flap very easily from just wear or hitting something. So that's the thing on tubes. Of course, there's all kinds of tubeless sealants, different brands on the market. When I first started, there was hardly anything, and Stan's come along and he really put everything on the map with his latex sealant, and that's still some of the best as far as I'm concerned. So that's what I run. Currently, all my bikes, whether they're, none of the rims that I have are meant to be tubeless, but I make all these, everything I've been running has no tubes and it's tubeless. So that's the way I go. Now for the tubeless systems, we have, this is called, this here, there is the Stan's Dart. And what you do, it has a little umbrella shape thing on it. I don't know if it's going to focus there. And pardon the handshake, that's my Parkinson's. You would stab that in the hole. Let's say that dot there is the hole. You stab that in there and push that in and pull it out. And this rubber little latex thing or whatever it's made of will stay in the tire and plug the hole. Now I've tried it a couple times and I've not had good success with that. That's called the Stan's Dart. Now this here, this red item and these cartridges all go together. They're the Dyna plugs. And anyhow, that this tip there that you see the black parts inside this silver thing, tube, and that's called the Mega plug. It's for larger holes, and it's on the other side of this Dyna plug. This red assembly. This is the caps and cover, and it comes as a kit. This is the Racers kit, and you buy these cartridges extra. I bought extra, and the Racer kit comes with a Dyna Mega plug on one end, and then just the thin generic plug on the left. And the way it works is you stab it in, and that gold part penetrates the tire, and that stays inside the tire, and the rubber part is sticking out, which plugs and seals the hole. And so if you have just a regular plug, you could put one or two of these in, or you could go with a wide Mega plug, which you can see is quite a bit wider. And you can even insert two of these. Now they have a round end, so they don't go in quite as easily as obviously the pointed end. So that's that there. So the generic pointed plug or the round Mega plug. And there's one on each end of the kit, as you can see there. It's a little harder to see on the Mega plug. And the way that works is you're gonna, let's say I want to have the I don't want to use the Mega plug, so I'll put this, I would put this cap on the end, and then that helps you push it in up here, and that's the hole there, let's say, and then you insert that all the way down into the tire. It helps if there's still a little bit of air in the tire. You insert that, then pull it out, and that plug that you see here stays inside the tire. Now the black part wears off as you ride, and use 1 to 2 plugs. You can put them side by side. It all just depends on what the hole damage is. So I have used the Dyna plug, and it works very well, and I highly recommend it. So that's some of your and there's a bunch of these different ones on the market. So I've researched a little bit and thought the Dyna plug was, first one I got was the Stan's Dart there on the left, the gray and black. But the Dyna plug I think is a better solution. This little yellow brush is to clean out the tube there, so in case there's anything sticking, that helps the plug release into the tire. You want it clean. I've not had to use that, but I have used it a couple times with success. So I like that. So once again, we have, using the proper size tube. You can run sealant in the tubes with success. You can go tubeless and use a sealant that you feel is a good brand for you. There's several on the market. I still find Stan's is one of the best. Here we have the racing sealant and the regular sealant. The racing sealant has larger particles, so it'll fill up to 1/8 to 1/4 inch hole approximately. So about the size of up to a pencil possibly. And the way it works with these plugs is once you push it in there, whatever sealant you have left in the tire will help seal any little gaps that may be around this plug. The plug just fills in the biggest part of the hole. So the way that works, and then if you get a slice and you have to put a tube in, which I still recommend carrying a tube. One, like on my trucks, I carry one tube that fits all the tires, and we'll put that in. So if I would have a glass slice in the tire where none of these things would work, I would put like a dollar bill or a piece of plastic, or if I'm at home in the shop, I would put some Gorilla tape or something just to cover the cut so that the tube won't pop out the tire. So that's the purpose of that, is to keep the tube inside the tire, because if you have a cut by glass that's 1/2 inch or bigger wide, the tube would just eventually usually pop out and burst, and then you'd have another flat. And then you always want to feel around inside your tire, like over here on the rack here. I'll show you. If you do get it flat and you have a tube, you want to feel around inside the tire there. Run your hands all the way around and make sure there's no nail or thorns inside your tire, because if you just put another tube in and you've left something sticking inside your tire, it will just re-puncture your new tube. So I'm sure there's things I've left out or maybe have not touched on, but as usual, if you have any questions and comments, feel free to leave them in the section, and I'll try to do my best to get back with you and answer them, or if there's a lot of them, and I'll make another video about it, about some of the questions I've left out. But I think I've covered quite a bit of it. So yeah, the different things you can do, running tubes, the proper tube size, checking for thorns before you put the new tube in, any slices, because you wouldn't want to, again, you wouldn't want to just put a new tube in if you got a big glass cut or something that's cut your tire, piece of metal, because the tube would just come out the side. That's where you'd want to, what they call a tire boot, and that's where you could put a piece of plastic like there on the seat inside there in between the tire and the tube, or I've used a dollar bill or some money or some piece of cardboard, or if you have some Gorilla Tape, it works really well. A piece or two Gorilla Tape stuck inside your tire, and then put your tube in. So, and then if you're running tubeless and you have a smaller hole, then try some of these new tubeless kits they have out there. Getting better and better. So the red one's the Dynaplug from Dynaplug. I think that's how you say it. The one on the left, the little gray and black one's from Stan's No Tubes, and it's called the Spider. And I've not had so good a success with it. I'm sure it does work. The time I tried it, it didn't work for me, but the Dynaplug has been working. I rode home after getting a hole in my tire, and I rode another 75 miles home and made it home. So it worked as advertised. It was easy to use and went right in the tire. So they just puncture in, like they said, the end that you don't want cut, that you're not going to use, you put the cap on, and it will help you push to penetrate in the tires, because racing tires are more easily punctured or inserted, the Dynaplug, than a regular, like on the back I have a Maxxis hookworm, which is a much tougher tire, so you'd have to push a little harder with the tool to get it in the tire. But well, I think that covers it, and that's my time on tire repair and some of your sealant choices, and the new tubeless tire system kits for plugging tires. So it's making tubeless much easier to deal with. You can probably insert one of these in there in seconds, 5 seconds, 15 seconds, you could possibly be pedaling it up to speed again. They even have some kits where it has an air cartridge on the plug. Dynaplug offers one of them, and it adds air at the same time as you're plugging. So I've not used that one yet. I've seen it demonstrated. It seems like it works nicely, but I carry CO2 cartridges and BB gun cartridges and Tire Innovation, I think, tools. So I don't think I have one handy to show you, but maybe I do. But I use their system. It's on the bike here, so I don't know if I'll take it out, but that's what I carry. And then it uses CO2 BB gun, so I can insert the plug and press that on the end of the valve and fix a flat as quick as 30 seconds to a minute on a tubeless system if everything works, well, which doesn't always go according to plan. Well, that's my time. Thanks for watching. Thank you.